Final Fantasy, a series known for its great storytelling and hard-hitting cutscenes. If you were to ask some people some of their favorite Final Fantasy games, opinions would differ, and for good reason. There are a lot of good stories out there when it comes to the Final Fantasy games. Me personally, the one that I started with was Tidus's and Yuna's story. Final Fantasy X set a bar so high for every single Final Fantasy game after that game that I couldn't stop playing. There were so many different variations of the battle system. There were so many different variations of just their general storytelling. With almost any iteration of the stories, I fell in love in some type of way, be it if it just for the combat system or if it was for any small portion of the story. If it wasn't for 10, I honestly wouldn't have known that stories could really be this good inside video games. 10 was what set me on the path when it came to RPGs as a whole. A lot of people would say probably Chrono Trigger or maybe Super Mario RPG. Maybe I'm speaking from my own vision when it comes to that part. I love Super Mario RPG. That was also an amazing story. And to get a little sidetracked when it comes to some of the RPG choices out there as a whole. But honestly, just one of the things I like to say when it comes to the Final Fantasy series, it doesn't matter where you jump in at, it doesn't matter which one you're a fan of, you can pretty much jump into any one of the games and experience the stories separately. And that's probably one of the best selling points when it comes to Final Fantasy, because it doesn't matter if you're somebody who's never played 7, you can go ahead and play 8. It doesn't matter if you're somebody who's never played the first one, you can go ahead and play the 12th one. Like, a lot of the series has a bunch of different connections to each other, like a little Easter eggs here and there, and like maybe some of them might be based off of some of the worlds that some of the prior games were set off of, but they're always new stories with some little bitty in-betweens, such as 13, 1, 2, and Lightning Returns, or Final Fantasy X's Part 2, which honestly I act like did not exist. I'm sorry, it was not for me. Just keep it on a positive note. Now, I've called you all here today because there's one Final Fantasy game in particular that I kind of want to shine some light on. I know a lot of other people probably know about this one already, but you know, there's still some people that are probably living under a rock, or maybe they're waiting for WoW to come back, or maybe this and that, and I don't know. But Final Fantasy 14 is amazing. They even have some fun little things to do right before you step into the game. A real hard-hitting boss that usually comes out whenever a new expansion comes out. I'm looking at you, 2002. Now, current expansion aside, honestly, I think Final Fantasy 14 is still a pretty fun game to jump into, even at 2025. I feel like there's so much to do in there, and that's funny coming from somebody who's replayed or retried or restarted his run maybe about a good 30 times now. But there's just something, even with the base game, which a lot of people don't really favor too much, there's just something there that makes the game still magical. Be it the community, be it the leveling system, be it how you can stay on one character and main so many different jobs. I have like 4 or 5 mains right now. Although I will say top tier, 5 out of 5 is Sage. If this is your first time going to the game, please, for the love of God, try Sage. It is so fun. You dance around with these pretty little lights and these little mechanical arms flying around you and healing everything under the sun. It is super fun. If the first time that you play this game is going to be a little bit after this video, definitely grab a friend. The base game can be a little bit of a slower pace, but I will say my first time going through it, I can remember it's been a couple years now, a good few years. I went through with a friend. It was a little bit slow, but honestly, there's so much there that can still drag you into the game. I might have an unfavored opinion when it comes to the base game. Honestly, there are some slow portions of it, but there are some things to like when it comes to the base game. Some quirky stuff going on. It's a lot of world building too, and if you're into that sort of thing, then it's definitely a ton of it for you. And maybe too many side quests, but you can pretty much ignore most of those when you start learning their way around. The community. Honestly, when it comes to playing that game, that's probably one of the better parts of it. I can literally start, I don't know how many different characters, and just roam around any random world, and you just start finding the nicest people. I will say, If you have any of my other socials when it comes to my gaming stuff, there's this one video where I was recording and this guy gave me like a ton of oranges. It was the most random interaction ever, but honestly, dude, thank you. I have vitamin C for years now. There's so many oranges. There's no humane way of eating all those oranges. The battle system can be a bit on the slower side when you start out, but I will say find something that looks aesthetically pleasing, try it out, and honestly it opens up a fair bit. There has been some talk about how some of the jobs can feel a little bit samey, but they still have it's a bit of a flair when it comes to some of the jobs. It still has that Final Fantasy-esque type vibe to it, and I definitely recommend just going and trying any one of the jobs. Honestly, everybody has their certain type of playstyle and favorite type of job type. I know a lot of people tend to gravitate towards the DPS side, which is why the DPS queues in any of these games is usually pretty long. And I will say, as somebody who's tried pretty much most of the job types inside this particular game, a lot of them have a lot to offer. I like how it feels when you're playing as a dancer and you're just dancing around the battlefield, literally dancing around the battlefield. It's so many pretty colors going on everywhere. That's pretty much any of the jobs, but dancer just has its own flair to it. Sage, I've already told you, is another dancer. It's the dancer of the healers. They say that's the battle healer, but honestly, that's the dancing healer. Or if you want to be an edgy Dark Knight type guy, you can do that too. That's also fun. Dark Knight is actually fairly nice. I haven't played Dark Knight in too much content, but as far as just running the job itself, it's pretty fun to play around with. I have taken a pretty nice liking to Gunbreaker though. It's a bit busy, but it definitely hits a few buttons. All in all, I just wanted to kind of shine some light and positivity when it comes to Final Fantasy 14. I still find a nice home there. Not in Limsa Lamunsa, but you know, Gridania is fine. But honestly, I think it's still a fairly nice game to hop into, even in 2025. And I can't wait to see exactly what happens afterwards, like what other jobs they add to the game. I think there's something about a Beastmaster coming to the game. I'm not the most up to date when it comes to everything they've added, because again, I keep running around in the earlier expansions. I'm sorry. I'm trying to run to the other ones. I'm really interested and I'm really curious to see what's happening there, but there's so much going on in like the first one, bro, and I be feeling like I want to go back and just redo it and replay it just to kind of really grasp what's going on there. Like, I've gotten the story at this point, but it's just like it's so much different small things going on in there. I don't know. That's just my take when it comes to Final Fantasy 14. But like I said, if you're somebody who hasn't tried any of the Final Fantasy games whatsoever, definitely give 14 a shot, give 10 a shot. I have recommendations for a lot of them. Give 12 a shot if you want a mixture of 10 and 14. There's a lot out there for everyone, honestly. And while we're here, also give Dragon Quest a shot. Pretty nice game too. Definitely in the same league as Final Fantasy for the most part.